If you're a big swim team and you like to order a lot of gear, maybe you ought to check out Swim Outlet Team Division for these reasons. Swim teams receive a 10% discount on bulk orders. Swim teams or organizations get an 8% commission on referred sales. You'll also like their customization services, which is affordable and available at all times during the year for all team gear. With over 50,000 items in stock, you can get most anything you want. Swim Outlet Team Division. You need to try it out. You'll be glad you did.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Tuesday, January 21st, 2014. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. I was on deck last weekend at the Arena Grand Prix in Austin, Texas, and had the opportunity to talk with several notable names and a few who just might be well known in a few years. Matt McLean is definitely in that notable names category, and I spoke with him at the end of a productive weekend that included a lot of freestyle racing and spending time with young local swimmers as part of his sponsorship with Arena. I started my interview talking about his participation in the Arena Grand Preview and what he gets out of his talks with young swimmers.
It's a nice little perk to being sponsored by Arena, taking part in the Grand Preview today. What was that experience like for you?
Well, I do a lot of clinics through Mutual of Omaha, and it's just something I really enjoy. I love being able to talk to kids and kind of share what I've gotten out of the sport. It a lot of times happens to transcend just the sport of swimming and really helps with life experiences. So anytime I can kind of get that across to little kids and hopefully tell them something that will make a difference in their life, I feel very fulfilled and I really enjoy it.
You probably also put a little perspective on your own life as well.
Yeah, it does, because, you know, just like any little kid that looks at someone who's made the Olympics, you know, you kind of perceive them as this almost Greek god type figure. And what I always try to tell them is we're just like everyone else. We put on our suit one leg at a time, but you know, I was there with Aaron. I watched him when I was growing up, and I still get kind of starstruck, if you will. So it's, you know, I think it's a good message to try and get to the little kids.
And you know, I was going to ask you, what was it like to be next to Aaron? I mean, he is everybody's idol, even people who are current who race with him.
Well, what's so cool is that he's just such a nice, down-to-earth guy, and you know, some people just are cool. Aaron, maybe Keith Richards, you know, I'm sure there's more of them, but some people are just cool, and Aaron's one of them. And I think it's because he's so sincere and down to earth. Just a good guy.
Well, I think a lot of people would say Matt McLean's cool too. Is that, you know, how do you feel like, you know, you're perceived on the national team? Are you perceived as like that laid back guy, the joker? What is your perspective of how you're viewed on the national team?
All I ever want to be viewed is Matt McLean, just myself. There's, you know, keep bringing up Keith Richards, but he has that quote, like, something along the lines of you either is or you ain't, but, you know, all I ever want to be is Matt McLean.
Sound like you're a big Rolling Stones fan, or just a Keith Richards fan.
You know, it just, I feel like it came up, so I sort of rolled with it. You know, I'm a huge classic rock guy, so they're obviously one of them, but, you know, there's other bands too.
Talking about the meet this weekend, we got a lot of swimming this weekend, even a mile. Coming back to that.
So I'll start with the first day. You know, I did the 100, which isn't an event I typically do, and I kind of was pleasantly surprised with the best time. I showed some speed, even though it was more of an even split 100. And then just a huge tactical mistake in the 400. Didn't swim it the way I needed to swim it at this point in the season. But, you know, I was able to take some positives from it. The 200 was solid. You know, there are great fields in every event. Yannick threw down that amazing 145, but, you know, training with him every day, you know, I don't think anyone's ever surprised when he does something like that. And then I had that 1500 tonight, which was, you know, it's a solid swim. I think it meets at this point in the season, you're able to kind of pull a few things out. And depending on how you're feeling at that given time, you can kind of say, well, this is how broken down I am, or this is how fit I am. So, yeah, I think it's important in mid-season meets like this to be able to say, well, this part of this race showed my fitness, this part of this race showed my fatigue. These are things that I can work on, and I think it's even more important coming off such a steady chunk of work that we've been doing.
I was standing next to Bob Bowman during that 400 free. He didn't seem to be happy with the way anybody was taking that race out. Did he let you have it at the end of it?
No, because we spoke before the race, and you know, we discussed some things and they just didn't work out the way we had hoped. But, you know, he never let me have it. It was very productive, and I think that's one of the things that makes Bob such a good coach, is that we're able to say, well, you know, maybe this was good. Well, I don't know if there's anything good about the 400 other than that there was more in the tank, but we were able to identify very productively and very effectively what needed to be done better. And I think as a training tool, doubling that night is not something that I'm used to, and it's a skill that I think would be good for me to develop.
You've always been known as one of the toughest trainers out there. Everybody we've talked to on the North Baltimore team says that, you know, it's some of the toughest training that they've ever done. Would you agree with that?
It is very difficult, and it's a good change. I think I've done more equipment work and other stroke work since I've been there than I have in my entire life. We have a great group, and I can't speak enough to the chemistry and the group dynamic that we seem to have put together. It's very authentic, and it's not something you can force, so we've been very fortunate to have such a great group of people, like, every day. And, you know, if you are having one of those bad workouts because you're exhausted, it's not like, oh man, you suck, you're being a wimp. It's, you've done really well, you've worked really hard, and now you're tired from working hard. Good job. So it's, everything is very positive, productive, and I couldn't ask for a better group of coaches and guys.
These are guys, you know, swim the 200, swim the 400. So you guys, I guess, can be kind of
some battles.
Yeah, you got some battles going on in the pool every day. You know, you're kind of viewed, like you and Connor, I guess, are viewed as rivals. You know, you guys are shooting for spots on national teams. Is there ever any kind of, you know, animosity, anything going on, or is it all very much friendly going on?
It's all super friendly, super positive, super encouraging, because negative energy is not good for you, and I think that we've all sort of by this time in our lives realized that, so we just tap into positive energy as often as possible. And I mean, you know, everyone has a day where they're hurting, and, you know, afterwards you'll either say, oh dude, awesome job, or you'll be like, oh man, Echo 5, we need a body bag on deck 3, you know? So I just can't speak enough to the chemistry and the dynamic of the group.
Of those battles that you guys wage almost every day, how many of those would you say you win?
You know, even within set, if a practice is a war, there's so many different battles within that practice that make it up. You know, we can do a set that's, you know, a pyramid, and everyone can win a different part of the pyramid. You know, Tom might win the fly, Yannick might win the 200, Connor might win the 400, I might take the 600, and then, like, it's just such a constant battle on everything that there's not really any way to credit one person. At this point in our career, we've all put in enough work to know what works for us individually. So if someone has it on the end, then someone has it on the end. Yannick is really good at closing. So we've had some sets where we're going, and then on that last one, he's just like, well, see you later. So, but I refuse at this level to look at anyone as being a Sammy Sabo.
It's just, they're just better at the end.
Yeah, you know, everyone, you got to play to your strengths. That's how things are won. So more power to whoever can do it at the beginning or the end or in the middle.
So this was kind of the team's first big meet together.
Right.
What do you think it's going to be like, you know, moving forward, you know, in workouts and getting ready for the next meets?
Well, I wouldn't look at this so much as a big meet, as much as a process meet. I think, you know, it's one of those meets where you take what you can and you move on. It's a good opportunity to get some racing while you're real broken down. I mean, that was a tough 1500, but it was still less than a quarter of some main sets that we've done within the last 10 days. So it really gives some good perspective. You know, we're going up to the Springs in mid-February. We all love training at altitude. It's a great opportunity to eat, sleep, breathe, swim. So we'll try and improve in any way we can up there, and then just kind of keep moving forward.
How do you like Baltimore?
Baltimore is pleasantly surprised me. You know, I lived in Charlottesville the preceding year, and it's a very different feel, but Baltimore has me very pleasantly surprised. It's kind of like a little big city. The square in Canton has some great restaurants, and Connor and I live really close to each other, and Michael too, and Tom. And sometimes you just say, hey, do you want to go grab a salmon Caesar at Mama's? And it's really cool how close we are in and outside of the pool. And I think that's one of the reasons we probably all feel so readily at home in Baltimore.
It's kind of interesting you guys don't all live together. I would have expected that's something you guys would have wanted to do, but maybe you need your own space after long workouts together.
I think it's important to have your own space, but we also, I do think, are very compatible. I think one of the reasons that we do live separately is because we're all very on our own when we were moving there, and the way you sign a lease is generally for a period of a year or so. So we just didn't really have I guess we didn't have the foresight to communicate beforehand, but it also came together very last minute. I didn't know where I was going to be until the very end of August, so I think we're all very satisfied with our living arrangements, especially considering how it came together.
Well, Matt, it's always good to see you. Good work this weekend.
Thanks for talking to me.
We're looking forward to seeing how this season goes for you.
Good.
Thanks to Matt for taking the time to talk during the Arena Grand Prix. Now, if you missed any of my interviews that I did on deck in Austin, you could find them on the event landing page at swimmingworld.tv. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.